Hello, good morning. It's morning, right? For some of us still. So this is episode 2 of my love series because, that's what the people wanted. We all want to feel more loved. We want to receive love. We want to be able to give love. So today I'm going to talk about vulnerability. I just ate lunch, so I'm going to take another swig of water. Letting some people show up if you want to come on live. So today, like I said, we're going to talk about vulnerability and the benefits of vulnerability and how it can help us love more and how it can help us receive love and just help improve our life in general. All right, so here we go. Hang tight. So the biggest thing with vulnerability is that it creates trust, all right? It creates trust not only in others, but it also creates trust in yourself. So when we allow ourselves to speak most authentically, to show up most authentically, then we are allowing ourselves to be vulnerable and we build trust in that we accept ourselves exactly how we are and we are telling others to accept us exactly how we are. And then we create this really awesome domino effect. As we build trust, we allow ourselves to become more vulnerable. And as we become more vulnerable, we build more trust. And then we become more vulnerable, etc., etc., etc. Okay? So that is one amazing thing that happens from allowing ourselves to just open up to let others see inside of our truest self. All right. And the other cool thing too is that as we build this trust with others, letting them into our heart, then we also allow them to feel empathy for us. We allow them to understand us. So if we don't tell them anything about ourselves, if we're not honest, if we're just trying to go with the flow and never speaking up or never interrupting just a little bit, then we allow them to just think that we're fine. But if we say how we're feeling, if we put in our little bit of whatever into there, into the conversation, into the community, into whatever we're producing, then we allow others to understand us. They understand who we are specifically. They allow that allows them to feel empathy for us. So if it's a struggle for something that we're working through, then they can feel empathy. They can give us support. They can show up for us. They can help us work through these challenges. And that's always better. 2 minds are better than one, right? So, because sometimes we just get stuck in there and we need an outside perspective. Everything is about perspective, right? That's not what when we're being vulnerable, we're not asking other people to judge us. We're just putting it out there. And yes, they might have their own perspective on however we are, but that's none of our business unless we wanted to make it our business and then we want to process it however we need to process it and use and pick information that best suits us and supports us. I keep looking down because I do have notes. I like to go on tangents, so this keeps me on track. So when we're talking about love and vulnerability, all right, being vulnerable helps us accept ourselves exactly how we are right now. The good, the challenged, the, whatever, the light, the positive energy, the negative energy, anything. It just lets us accept ourselves in the moment. And when we can do that, then we can show up as our truest self. We can also be more self-aware too. So when we're vulnerable, we know what our struggles are. And so when they stir up in life, we can attack them. We can analyze them. We can help them. And that is really important when going into any sort of relationship, whether it's a friend or whether it's someone that you want to be your partner for life or just dating. You know, you want to be able to show up as your truest self, and you want to be able to acknowledge feelings that are happening in the moment as you are making that relationship happen. It helps also bring the right people to you. So if you're not showing up, like for example, for me, I tend to get along with most people, I would say. If you're super hateful, we probably don't get along that well because I'm a little bit more bubbly than that. But in general, I get along with most people. But other people don't necessarily all get along with me, right? So I always like to show up as my truest self, which is humorous, which is friendly, which is a little quirky, you know, a little bit assertive. And I do that so that when other people meet me, they can gain perspective and, all right, well, this is how Melissa is. And I can see where I fit in that relationship level with her, okay? You know? So when we're meeting new people, like if we're on a first date, allow those walls to come down. Allow them to see a little bit of you. Be vulnerable. And then you guys can both see how you react, both you and the other person, to that vulnerability. And it allows you to draw in the right person. Maybe that shows you that in that moment that person's like a little, I don't know about that. This person's a little bit obsessed with alligators or something if you're starting to talk about your passion for alligators. But you wouldn't know that unless you shared it. And then, or maybe they're like, oh, that is kind of weird, but you know, I'm digging it. They have passion, you know? And then that lets you bring in that person that is supportive for you and non-judgmental. So that's why being vulnerable is not only subjectively a good thing, but it's also objectively a good thing. It helps you to find love. It helps you to find your person. Let me see. What else did I want to talk about? Okay. Vulnerability is also a catalyst. All right. When we allow ourselves to open up, we open our hearts, we open our soul, we also open our mind, and we get challenged a little bit because it's a little uncomfortable, right? So it's like this catalyst into trusting ourselves. This is how I want to wrap it all up. Trusting ourselves a little bit, becoming self-aware a little bit of our struggles and our challenges so that in real time we know when it's happening and we can respond appropriately. And then also creating accountability for all those things. So when we allow other people to see us as our truest self, whether we're on a date, whether we're making new friends, whether we're showing up in our community, then we are holding accountability for ourselves in showing up as our authentic self. Okay? We're showing accountability for not trying to fit in to their mold, but really just coming in with our own, you know? So we have to build that awareness. We have to let ourselves open up. We have to take down those walls, but it's not really easy. You remember, like if you think like a brick wall, you know, you're built it one brick at a time, you know, and that's same with your vulnerability. Maybe you close that off one brick at a time, sealing it up. But now when we smash it down, maybe it's not like a wrecking ball like Miley Cyrus. Maybe it's just a little hammer and we knock down one brick, you know, and we let someone see a little bit something into our soul. And then we knock down another brick and we share another little tidbit about ourselves without judging ourselves at all. And then we knock down another one. And now we're becoming more aware and it's getting a little bit more comfortable. It's getting easier. We're breaking down that framework of that wall. And those bricks are starting to shake up. They're starting to come down on their own. Maybe when we hit this one, this other one's falling down too. And that wall will slowly come down. And you'll just be open. And you'll be you. You'll be your most authentic self. And you'll show up as your most authentic self. Okay? So I know there's not a lot of you here live, but if you have any questions about vulnerability, send them my way. This was one of the topics that was brought up to me when in my story, someone asked about showing up as themselves and like always like shutting things down when they go and they meet someone new, just like shutting down completely. And yes, that is like a protective kind of thing. You know, we don't want to be judged. We don't want to be hurt. But if we are so certain about ourselves and we trust ourselves, then that's it. You won't feel judged in that moment. You'll just be like, this is not the right person for me, and we'll move on. Great. Sending you love and light. So I hope this was super helpful. If you want to dive further into your thoughts, into what you're going to find in this next year, what you're going to find in the rest of 2020, hop over to my Facebook group. And every day I'm offering a journal prompt. Just something simple where you can answer it in the moment. You can answer it in the comments, or you can do it on your own in your own journal. But that is all I have for you guys today. This was super fun. I'm going to save this video. It's going to be in my IGTV library channel, whatever we call it. And I will see you guys next time. Send me DMs with topics that you want me to cover. I'll hold on to this topic of love for maybe the next few days, and then I'm going to move on because I have some really great things to share with you. All right? So I hope you guys have an awesome day. Stay warm out there.